All right, buckle up, folks, because you're about to dive headfirst into the wildest, most jaw-dropping showdown in late-night TV history. Imagine this Hollywood's ultimate tough guy, Mark Wahlberg, struts onto the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live, ready to hype his latest blockbuster. But what starts as a typical celebrity chat explodes into a full-blown disaster, insults fly, tempers flare, and a massive walkout leaves millions gasping in shock. This isn't just an interview gone wrong at a raw, unfiltered clash of egos that exposes the dark underbelly of showbiz. Stick around, hit that subscribe button, and flood the comments with your thoughts, because this tale is pure fire, uncomfortable, intense, and utterly unforgettable. Let's set the scene, because this didn't happen in a vacuum. Picture the glittering lights of Hollywood, where stars shine bright, but egos burn brighter. It's a crisp evening in Los Angeles, the kind where the air hums with anticipation. Jimmy Kimmel Live is taping, the audience buzzing with energy, packed with fans eager for laughs, gossip, and maybe a sneak peek at the next big movie. Jimmy Kimmel, the king of late-night sarcasm, sits behind his iconic desk, flashing that signature smirk that says, "I'm here to entertain, but I might poke fun too." He's built his empire on witty banter, celebrity roasts, and that perfect blend of charm and cheekiness. But tonight, oh tonight, he's about to cross a line he never saw coming. Enter Mark Wahlberg, the Boston-bred powerhouse who's clawed his way from street kid to a list icon. You know him, the guy who started as Marky Mark, dropping beats and modeling underwear, then transformed into a serious actor with hits like The Departed, Boogie Nights, and a string of action flicks that rake in millions. Mark's got that no-nonsense vibe forged in tough neighborhoods, where you learn to stand your ground. He's promoting his newest thriller, something packed with highs, takes, chases, explosive fights, and that classic Wahlberg intensity as he walks onto the set, waving to the cheering crowd. You feel the electricity. The audience loves him. He's relatable, real, with a swagger that screams, "I've been through hell and came out stronger." Mark Wahlberg, everybody. Jimmy announces, clapping as the crowd roars. Mark settles into the guest chair, looking relaxed in a sharp jacket and jeans, his smile wide and genuine. "Thanks for being here, Mark. I know you're busy, saving the world in movies, and probably in real life too." Knowing you, the crowd chuckles, and Mark nods appreciatively. "Thanks for having me, Jimmy. Always good to be here, even if Hollywood's not my favorite spot on the planet." Right off the bat, there's a hint of that Boston loyalty. Mark's all about his roots, his family, his city, but Jimmy, ever the quick-witted host, picks up on it with a twist. "Oh, right, because you're all about that Boston life," Jimmy says, smirking. "Tell me, do you miss the good old days wandering Beantown, when you were just, what was it, Marky Mark?" The audience erupts in laughter, a classic callback to Mark's early days as a rapper and model. But watch Mark's face, his smile holds, but his eyes flicker with something sharper. He's been down this road before. People love to dredge up his past, his wild youth, his mistakes. But Mark's grown. He's a family man now, a producer, a philanthropist. Those were different times, Jimmy. I was young, made some dumb choices, but I learned from him. That's what life's about. Growing up, his tone is even, but there's an undercurrent, like he's steering the ship back to calmer waters. Jimmy nods, leaning back in his chair with that casual lean that screams, "I'm just getting warmed up." Sure. But you know what I find fascinating? You've totally reinvented yourself, from underwear gigs to the music scene. And now you're this powerhouse actor and producer. It's like a total glow-up, man. The crowd claps, appreciating the nod of Mark's evolution. But Mark senses a setup. He's no stranger to Hollywood's games. People change, Jimmy, people evolve. I've been lucky to grab opportunities and run with them in this crazy business. Jimmy's smile stretches wider, but it's the kind that doesn't light up his eyes, more like a shark spotting prey. Evolve, that's one way to spin it. I mean, some folks might say you just mastered the art of image control, shaping the story too. Fit, the brand, the air thickens, the audience quiets, sensing the shift from playful to pointed. Mark leans forward, his Boston accent kicking in stronger, like armor. "What exactly are you trying to say here?" Jimmy's voice is steady, but there's that edge, the one for his movies, where the hero is about to snap. "Oh, nothing at all." Jimmy waves it off with a dismissive hand, but his grin says otherwise. "I just think it's wild how Hollywood operates, how someone can wipe the slate clean, and everyone plays along like we've all got selective memory or something." The studio audience fidgets, the usual breezy vibe turning tense. Laughter fades into murmurs. Mark's jaw clenches, and he eases back in his chair, eyeing Jimmy with the intensity of a dramatic role. What, Jimmy? If you got something on your mind, just spit out. Don't circle around with all this passive-aggressive stuff. Jimmy's eyebrows arch, faking shock. "Passive-aggressive me? Come on, Mark. I'm just chatting. This is what we do on talk shows. We talk." But Mark isn't buying it. "Yeah, well, there's talking, And then there's whatever this is you brought me here to plug my new movie. So let's get to that. His tone is calm, but the warning is clear. Back off. Jimmy picks up a cue card, glances at it, then tosses it aside like it's yesterday's news. But you know what's even more intriguing? Your whole rise from Boston streets to Hollywood. Royalty, that's a massive jump, isn't it? Mark's patience phrase, "What the heck is wrong with you tonight?" The audience hears the real irritation bubbling up, whispers ripple through the crowd. This isn't the scripted fun they're used to. Jimmy raises his hands like he's innocent. No issues here, Mark. I'm just curious about the real you. Under all that glossy Hollywood veneer, the guy who knows how to handle rough spots of tension is palpable now, thick as fog. Mark's voice drops that movie tough guy tone. Emerging, handle myself. What do you think you know about that? Jimmy pushes on. You've got a rep for being direct with problems. Let's say Mark stands up abruptly and Jimmy's cool facade cracks. Just a bit. You know what, Jimmy? I showed up as a pro to talk, work, to shout out, a film a ton of folks poured their hearts into. But if you're going to snipe at me for reasons, I can't even guess we got a real problem. Jimmy tries to smooth it over, slipping back into host mode. Mark, sit down. Let's reset. Maybe a miscommunication, Mark. Let's out. Humorless laugh. I've been doing these for 25 years. I know the difference between a mix-up and someone digging under my skin for kicks. The audience's hushed eyes wide. This feels like a train wreck in slow motion, the kind you can't live away from. Jimmy, maybe sensing he's gone too far, but too proud to admit it, steers back. Okay, fine, let's chat about the movie. What's it called again? But Mark cuts him off sharp. Don't act like you don't know exactly what you're doing. Sweat beads on Jimmy's brow under the hot lights. The host chair suddenly feels a lot smaller. Then comes a fatal slip. Jimmy chuckles forcibly. Look, Mark, I think you're being a tad sensitive. We're adults. Can't we have a real talk without you getting all street about it? The word street lands like a bomb. The studio freezes. Mark's face hardened. Street. He repeats, accent thick as Boston chowder. You just call me street. Jimmy knows he's messed up, but live TV pressure keeps him going. I just meant you're getting intense over what should be fun. Mark steps closer to the desk. Jimmy leaning back, instinctively fun. You called 10 cheap shots at my past fun. Mark, please. Jimmy pleads, voice wavering. No, you don't get to poke the bear and then bail when it growls. Security edges closer. Audience on edge. Jimmy tries control. We're on TV. Mark, let's break for commercial. But Mark's volume rises. Now you care about TV. You didn't when you were trying to humiliate me. I wasn't trying to embarrass you. Jimmy protests. Really? Because it sure feels like you invited me to be your punching bag. Jimmy's temper flares. I've had hundreds of guests, and none react like this to basic questions. Basic, you've been jabbing at me since I sat down. My authenticity, my background, calling me street. It's a comedy show. Jimmy snaps. Not everything's an attack. Mark's voice lowers dangerously. Your job's to make guests comfy, not use them for your insecurities. Jimmy stands, now matching energy. My insecurities? You're the one threatening over jokes. Threatening. If I was, you'd know him. Calling you disrespectfully. Argument boils. Security hovers. Mark stares Jimmy down. You're right. This is your show, so I don't have to stay. He heads for the exit. Where you going? Jimmy panics. Leaving. Mark says. Jimmy's desperate. Jab. Perfect. Walk away. Just what everyone expects. Mark stops, turns. What you say? Jimmy backtracks. But Mark advances. What does that mean? What do you think you know? Mark, let's just calm and finish like pros. Pros, you ambush me for personal scores. I barely know you. Then what's this? Mark demands. Jimmy's facade crumbles. You really want to know? Yeah, enlighten me. Jimmy stands tall, bitterness spilling. Fine, guys, like you make me sick, you mess up, get arrested. Hollywood loves you. I grind years in clubs and am supposed to be grateful. Audience gasps. This is raw. Mark shakes his head, surprise. This is jealousy, not jealousy. Fairness, you assault folks, get arrested. Hollywood loves you. One wrong joke for me, career over. Mark shakes head. First, I never assaulted anyone. Second, you think my success was gifted. I worked my butt off. Jimmy laughs bitterly. You play tough guys. Suddenly you're legit. You're a novelty. Mark, the insult stings. Novelty. Mark echoes. That's what you are. Jimmy doubles down. Famous for being famous. Mark pauses. Then you might be right on some maybe lucky breaks, but you're wrong on one thing. One mistake ends your career. You're making one now, and ITLL spin your way. Jimmy stammers. I wouldn't say I overreacted. Volatile prima donna fits a narrative better than admitting you're bitter. Jimmy flushes. Insecure. I have a show millions watch. Then why resent me if you're secure? Why care? Jimmy looks around. Support lacking. It's not fair. You skipped the line. I wait. Like, comment, share, subscribe.